Let's go into the KUAM News Zoom room where standing by we have Senator Clynt Ridgell, Democrat, and he's joined by Agriculture Director Chelsa Brecht. Good morning.
Good morning. Half a day.
Good morning.
Good morning, Senator. So we'll just get right into it. We had Mayor Gogwe on well, it's this week, Monday, I believe, and he was talking about this bill here. That Senator Ridgell's bill, and he did raise some concerns. Chelsa, did you want to kind of just respond to those?
Sure. I first want to preface it with saying I absolutely adore Mayor Gogwe. He is hardworking. He's dedicated to his village. He's always been one of the truly respected mayors in my mind. But I understand his concern. One of the first ones he raised is that we're focusing on owned pets and that they didn't really need to be part of this formula. But I just have to respectfully disagree, because one of the challenges that not just our office but the mayors run into is people who own pets but do not want them leashed, do not have them behind a fence, and so they run rampant sometimes in certain villages, and they contribute to the entire stray dog challenge. If you have an owned pet and there's a stray in heat, there you go, new litter for the village. Or if there's another neighbor's dog that's also owned but is running around and they're untagged or they don't have a collar, it becomes part of the challenge that we have to address. So in tackling the aspect of owned pets needing to have a microchip, it reduces the workload for everybody, because then you can just run around with a $200, $300 scanner, and when you encounter a dog, you can scan it, and if it belongs to someone, you can take it back to the home and ask them to keep it behind a fence or on a leash, or you can contact the owner and say the dog will be up at game, come pick it up.
Senator?
Yeah, I agree with the director. So I guess, I actually didn't catch his interview to catch all of his concerns, but
Right,
he did show up to the public hearing, and I'm assuming there's some of the same concerns from the public hearing. So at the public hearing, when he testified, his concerns seemed to be a lot about, he felt like putting too much pressure or on the responsible dog owners. He kept talking about how, I guess not punishing responsible dog owners, something to that effect. So, like the director was saying, a big part of the stray problem is that people who own dogs often let them roam the village freely. So the way this bill all came about was actually because of talking with the Department of Agriculture. They really wanted to do something to try and address the stray dog problem. And I spoke with the mayors. Unfortunately, Mayor Gogwe wasn't there at this meeting that was held. I don't believe he was there at the meeting that was held at the Department of Agriculture, but all the other mayors were there, and then also the mayors that are heading up the actual dog roundup. The mayors are already rounding the dogs up. They're already starting to do it. So this bill was just to complement what they're doing and try to help what they're doing. So part of the issue is that as the mayors have started rounding up dogs, they're encountering some pushback from animal lovers in the community who are afraid that the whole program is going to be centered around rounding up and culling animals.
Yeah.
So some of the animal rights community, GAIN, for example, they really don't want to round up and cull all the animals. The mayors just want to get the animals off the streets, right? They don't care how it's done. They just want to get the animals off the streets. So I met with GAIN, and I met with the mayors, the ones who are, particularly Mayor Paco, who's heading up the animal roundup, and Mayor Alec, and the Department of Agriculture. We all met, and that's how we came up with this bill. Basically, what the bill would do is, instead of just rounding up and culling all of the animals, we round up the animals, and then we spay and release those that are deemed safe to be released back into the community. Any animal that's deemed dangerous or aggressive that will be at the discretion of and the judgment of the Department of Agriculture and their veterinarian. They can determine if an animal is dangerous to the community, then that animal will have to be culled. If the animal is not considered dangerous, then that can be spayed and released. And the spay and release is really what GAIN and the animal rights organizations really wanted to see.
Right.
So I tried to incorporate all these different things into the bill, spay and release program, as well as the ability for GAIN to cull the animals that are dangerous, and just sort of bring all of those different things together, including microchipping. I know there was some concern about the microchipping. The reason for that, according to the Department of Agriculture, is a lot of times, and the mayors, they round up the dog, they're about to bring the dog into GAIN, and then someone says, oh, that's my dog, that's my dog. No, don't take my dog.
Yeah.
And so people were also getting mad that you're taking my dogs. So we said, okay, then microchip your dogs. That way, Department of Agriculture can use a wand to see if the dog's microchip. If the dog's microchip, okay, it's registered to this house right down the street. Let's take the dog to the guy at the house. Here's your dog, right? And that's how that all came about, was just sort of combining all of these different concerns and trying to find a way to resolve this problem. And it is a complicated problem.
Yeah,
and I'm not proposing that this bill is the end all be all answer at all. I'm just working with the different organizations, the different parties involved, and seeing where can we all meet in the middle and come up with something that everyone can live with.
So when you talk about just having to factor in all of these different interests and their desires, wishes to deal with this problem, it almost reminds me of the vaccination effort, right? Where I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the train of thought here with GAIN is that we go out and spay and neuter enough of these animals and get that, herd immunity, if you will.
It's almost like that. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing.
So we'll have like 60,000, spayed and neutered dogs, but it's really going to come down to those ones that we don't get. But what I wanted to ask was, do you think killing, in other words, any of these strays deserves more consideration in solving this problem? Because that's what the takeaway for me with Mayor Gogui was. He kept saying, why aren't we talking about killing, off a lot of these dogs? Because there's 60,000 some stray dogs on Guam?
Yeah, so apparently, GAIN, I'm not the expert on this part. GAIN has a lot of, the president of GAIN has a lot of data and information he cited from other countries that he says shows that that spaying and neutering is the best way to reduce the population. Some of the arguments GAIN has used is that when you call or just take the dogs out, that other dogs just fill he calls it a vacuum effect. Other dogs fill the void and they just keep on breeding and breeding. So, I'm not too sure. I'm not an expert on this, but according to the folks at GAIN, they believe, and they've got some data that shows that that spaying and neutering is the best way to go. Yeah. And they've cited some other countries that have done it and shown how they've reduced their populations. So yeah, I just
in my mind, I think we could do, if I'm being honest, because this bill and our process has been drafted and implemented to keep everyone happy. But I do think there would be a quicker effect if we divided the population of dogs into thirds of all the roundups. Like a third of the dogs get spayed, neutered, released, a third of the dogs go up to GAIN for adoption, and a third of the dogs get culled. I am expecting I'll be receiving emails soon.
Well, okay, we'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, Summer.
On another note.
Right on. How about that May harvest?
No, yeah. Or congratulations on the launch of the Toka app.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun and awesome. For the record, I have plenty dogs that I love and they're cared for.
Right on. Senator, well, let's talk about May harvest because we got like a minute. that was moved to tomorrow, right?
Yes, we had some logistical challenges, so that we just moved it tomorrow to make it easier. But it's not really. It's so we're doing a farmer recognition. We didn't want to let another May go by without recognizing our farmers. And last year, before COVID, we had like just tremendous plans in place, and COVID ruined all of them. So we just wanted to do some small scale kind of thing. It's not open to the public. We just worked with our northern and southern soil and water conservation districts to identify a junior farmer from the north and a farmer from the north to recognize for their awesome farming capacities and work and dedication, and then a junior farmer from the south and a farmer from the south, and then also a small vendor and a large vendor who have been consistently supporting farmers by buying local produce and selling it at their stores. And then we're also recognizing the Beekeeper Association, the Nurserymen's Association, and the Farmers Cooperative of Guam as partners in this industry. And we'd like to bring them together to sort of create one large agriculture group under the umbrella of the Farmers Cooperative Association, so that any messaging and communications and programs and projects we do would be with everyone at one time.
Right on. That's a great note to end on. Senator, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Sabrina.
Chelsa.
Download the Talka app.
Yeah.
And register your dogs.
Yeah. Thank you, Chelsa. I will catch up with
Thank
you
you,
next
guys.
week on the fishing thing, because I know that that's ongoing, right? Well,
Yeah, the deadline is today and tomorrow
Oh,
to apply.
there you go, guys. Better apply. I told you guys. I told you ever since to apply for that one.
But there'll be a round 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Chelsea.
All right.
Right on. Okay,
welcome.
Senator. Have a good weekend, guys.